but I feel now, I know. Because around and around and around and around me, falling over and over and over the boundary, screaming elevated, haunted, relocated, round and around and around and around me.
Hey guys, Leslie here from the 7 Wayfinders. If you're new to our channel, my husband Chris and I are traveling around the world with our 5 kids. Today I want to give you some tips to know before you make your trip to Bangkok. Bangkok is one of my favorite cities, and we have tons of tips and tricks videos as well as our family's experience videos in Bangkok, as all over Asia as well. So make sure you check out our channel, so hit the subscribe button and the like button and hit that bell so that you get our future videos. We are currently in beautiful Portugal. We've now moved to Europe, but I love Asia and I miss Bangkok probably the most of all the cities in Asia. Highly recommend you go to Bangkok. However, there's a few things you need to know. We ended up living in Bangkok because we travel full-time for 5 weeks. We were in Thailand for 2 months, in Bangkok for 5 weeks. I easily could have been there for 2 months, but we weren't. In fact, I am considering living there, just so you know. Okay, things you need to know. First of all, hopefully you're showing up without a car. Don't use a car in Bangkok. Bangkok traffic is literally the worst in the world, at least that I've seen. I've now been in Tokyo, I've been in Los Angeles, I've been in New York City, Chicago. Bangkok puts them all to shame, people. Bangkok, first of all, is ginormous. The city itself can take you 2 hours to get from one end to the other. Very hard to comprehend how big Bangkok is. You may see a floating market or something else and think, oh sweet, that's in the city. Yeah, welcome to your next 1.5-hour drive or 2-hour drive. And yeah, it's still in Bangkok. So traffic is immense. Hopefully you're not coming with a car, in which case you need to know about transportation, okay? You're gonna wanna have a driver in Bangkok. It's pretty common in Asia, at least in Thailand and Bali and Vietnam even, to have your own driver for the day. What that means is you're just meeting someone on the street or meeting someone through Grab. Grab is Asia's version of Uber, okay? Make sure you download it before you go. You're meeting someone, you're liking them when you're having your experience with them, and you're saying, hey, Thursday, I want a driver all day long. How much will you charge me for 10 hours or whatever? In Bali, you'll say, hey, I want to go to this waterfall and this waterfall. How much for the day? Okay? So you're going to want to find your driver. You don't have to use this person all the time, but you're going to want to find someone that you like, because if you're going to go far out of Bangkok, like we went to Dream World, we went to Safari World, we went and did the floating markets, you want to have a driver for the day, because that way you don't have to worry about parking, but you also don't have to worry about finding your ride back. And they're so affordable that you can just hire them for the entire day. So walk around the street, meet some drivers. If you meet someone you like and they don't have the right size of car, they're gonna know someone who does. They can arrange this for you. Or honestly, just ask me. We had a couple drivers we really liked. You're going to use WhatsApp to message them, so make sure you have that also. That's very common in Asia. And if they don't know how to write very well in English, they may use a voice memo to talk to you. So that's another option. But find a driver. All you do is just go around and meet them. You're gonna walk down the street and people are gonna ask you, hey, you need a ride? They can be your driver for the next day. And if you don't like them, find someone else for the day after that, okay? Next, use their public transportation system. In Bangkok, there are 2 different kinds of trains. This was new to me and took me a while to figure out. There's the subway that goes underground, and then there's the sky train that goes above. They're 2 different tickets, they're 2 different prices. So if you take the subway to part of the way and then you need to take the sky train, you're gonna have to get a brand new ticket, okay? Just know that. Sorry, I've got some noise because I've got kids. Hang on. Sorry, my friend Grace woke up from nap, okay? You're gonna wanna know about the subway and the sky train. Both work well. Both are totally packed, okay, at rush hour. And the sky train is a little bit more expensive than the subway. So just know that. We bought subway cards because we try and buy them everywhere we go in hopes of using them during the month that we live there. But I didn't buy SkyTrain tickets, and so it was always kind of expensive if we needed to use that. However, any of that is better than sitting in traffic. You're gonna move faster on the trains than you are in a taxi or a tuk-tuk when it's rush hour, which rush hour lasts basically from 4 to 9 p.m. It's super intense, okay? But cash is king. You always need to have cash. If you're wondering where the best place is to get cash, it's just the ATM, okay? Stop by the ATM, get your cash, even if that's at the airport, and make sure you have some. Cash is king in Bangkok. That's going to apply to food, transportation, and most of your shopping. So make sure that you have a lot of cash. When you're using a taxi, make sure that has a meter, okay? They're going to rip you off. Here's the thing about Thailand, people. It's so cheap. They have no qualms at all overcharging you. And they're going to know who you are and where you're from way before you think they do. Just by the way you look, by the way you dress, by the way you act, and by the way you talk. They know that they can charge you more. So to some degree, you just know that that's the case. It's still so affordable. You're like, hey, they're making their living. It's okay. But, you know, stand your ground, right? If they're going to charge you some ridiculous price for a ride, turn them down and walk away. We literally walked away many times because people were going to rip us off super bad. Also, you got to negotiate. That's part of the game, especially in Bangkok. They're going to start at this price. You're going to say about half, and you're going to meet somewhere in the middle.
How about 200? 20 more. How much? 220? Okay.
This applies to all of your shopping. Food, not as much because they don't negotiate that much on food, but definitely also to your transportation, okay? If you're getting in a tuk-tuk, tuk-tuks are more expensive than taxis, but they're also way more fun. Make sure to check out my video on what is a tuk-tuk. Then make sure you're negotiating because they're gonna give you a ridiculous price to start. And my very first night, I didn't know that and I got way ripped off, okay? Another thing to know about Bali and Thailand and some of these more third world Asian countries is kickbacks are totally normal for them. If your driver brings you to a certain restaurant, he's probably gonna get paid for you to eat there. If your driver takes you to this store, he's probably gonna get a kickback. That's normal and that's part of the game. It's okay. Like, don't be weirded out or offended. This isn't like some shady like mafia deal or anything. They just all kick back. We were literally in Bangkok trying to get to a Muay Thai fight, which we never got to because traffic was so bad. It was gonna end before we got there. But in order to try and get there, we hailed a tuk-tuk. We told him where we were going. We got in. He finally said, you know what? I can't go on the freeway because tuk-tuks aren't allowed to go on the freeway. So he hailed a taxi driver and got a kickback from him. We had told the tuk-tuk we would pay a certain amount, like 500 baht. He said, hey, blah, 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 you know, but he's saying these guys want to go here and they'll pay you 400 and he got the other 100. All right there in front of us. There's no shame to that game there. They will get kickbacks everywhere. From the hotel, from the restaurant, from the shop you're going to, from the tourist attraction, everywhere. So don't be weirded out. That's just normal. That's how they make their money. And it's okay because it supports their tourism industry and you want to see the cool things that are there, okay? Next, this is kind of a funny thing about Bangkok and some of their street food. They're not going to give you all of your change back. They're going to short you by a few baht. If you bring it up and are kind of sticky about it, they may reluctantly hand you over those few baht. It's a few pennies, really, so it's not that big of a deal, but it kind of bugged Chris. He was like, what? They're not giving me all my change back. If he asked, they would. So if that bugs you, you can ask, but just know that it's a few pennies. Over hundreds of people a day, it probably amounts to something for them, but that's something that we were kind of weirded out and interested to know. Next, you can totally hire a babysitter while you're there. If you're coming with kids like us, use 𝗖𝗵𝗲𝗯. We especially love women from the Philippines because they love kids and they almost all speak English. English is a predominant language in the Philippines. So if you want to, hire a babysitter. Your hotels are almost always going to be able to arrange babysitting too. So make sure you hit date nights. We have a whole video on our date nights in Bangkok because we love them. But I'll just tell you this, go to a night market. Best date in the world. I mentioned this in some of my other Asia videos. Make sure you have a pocket Wi-Fi if you want to have any kind of data on your cell phone while you're around Bangkok and not in a Wi-Fi spot. A pocket Wi-Fi basically brings you extra cellular data to your phone and boosts it, kind of like Wi-Fi. It's easy to buy. You can buy a pocket Wi-Fi in most shops, most tech shops in Bangkok, or even the airport, and then you buy a SIM card specific to Thailand. You need to buy a SIM card in every Asian country that you go to, but you can use the pocket Wi-Fi as you travel through Asia, okay? Enjoy Bangkok. I hope that you book your trip there soon. If you're going in April, know about Songkran. That was a really fun surprise for us. It is the hottest time of the year, so I will warn you that, but Songkran is amazing. Check our video for that. And again, enjoy all your travels and we'll see you later.